Jake Morris never thought his life would change because of a stupid bet, but here he was standing in the cargo bay of the station staring at a small alien girl who barely reached his chest. His crewmates had played the cruelest joke on him after he lost a card game, and the prize was her some random alien they picked up from a failing colony ship drifting near Mars. The guys laughed themselves sick when they shoved her toward him, calling her his new pet, his new responsibility. She had pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the station lights, and her eyes were large and golden like twin suns. Her hair fell in silver waves down her back, and she wore tattered robes that looked like they once belonged to royalty but now were just rags. She didn't speak much at first, just watched him with those enormous eyes that seemed to see right through him. The crew called her names, treated her like cargo, like she was nothing more than a broken tool. Jake felt sick watching it, but what could he do? He was just a mechanic on a human station far from Earth, far from anyone who cared. Her name was Kira, or at least that's what he understood when she finally spoke. Her voice was soft like wind chimes, and she had an accent he couldn't place. She told him she was nobody, now just a survivor, but something in the way she held herself told a different story. Days turned into weeks, and Jake found himself actually talking to her. She was smart, frighteningly smart. She understood human technology better than half the engineers on the station, and when she touched the broken equipment in his workshop, it seemed to come alive under her fingers. The other crew members mocked him, called him soft for treating her like a person, but Jake didn't care. There was something about Kira that demanded respect even in her ragged state, even when she scrubbed floors and carried supplies without complaint. One night she told him the truth. She wasn't just some random alien from a colony ship. She was Princess Kira, Filnara, heir to the Thelnari Empire, the largest alien civilization in 3 galaxies. Her ship hadn't been failing. It had been attacked by traitors who wanted her dead, who wanted to steal her throne. Jake laughed at first, thought she was making up stories, but then she showed him the mark on her wrist, a symbol that glowed with inner light, a royal seal that couldn't be faked. He stopped laughing real fast. She explained that her people believed in the old ways. A ruler had to prove themselves worthy by surviving the worst circumstances, by rising from nothing. If she could survive this humiliation, this slavery, then she would return stronger than ever. And those who betrayed her would pay. Jake realized he was in way over his head, but he also realized he couldn't abandon her. Now they had become friends, maybe more than friends, though neither would admit it. Months passed, and Kira grew stronger. She learned human customs, human language, human ways of thinking. But she never forgot who she was. She carried herself with quiet dignity, even when others tried to break her spirit. Then everything changed. Massive fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system, ships that made Earth's entire navy look like toys they bore. The symbol Kira had shown him. The Thelnari Empire had come. The station commander nearly had a heart attack when the aliens demanded the return of their princess. The crew, who had mocked her, who had treated her like garbage, suddenly understood what they had done. They had enslaved the future ruler of the most powerful empire in known space. Jake expected her to have them all executed, expected revenge, but Kira surprised him again. She stood before the station commander and the trembling crew in her restored royal robes that shimmered like starlight. Her hair was crowned with strange metals that floated above her head, and her eyes blazed with authority. But when she spoke, her voice was calm. She pardoned them all. Every human who had mistreated her, who had laughed at her, who had made her scrub floors was forgiven. She said she had learned something valuable from her time among them. She had learned that true strength wasn't about power or armies. It was about rising above hate, about choosing mercy when revenge would be easier. But she had one condition: Jake Morris would come with her as her personal ambassador to the human race. The crew stared in shock, Jake most of all, but Kira just smiled, that small, mysterious smile she had, and extended her hand to him. She told him that he had shown her kindness when no one else would, that he had treated her as an equal when she had nothing, and for that he had earned her trust and her friendship. Jake looked at his crewmates at the station that had been his home for 5 years. Then he looked at Kira, at the alien girl who had been given to him as a joke, who had turned out to be so much more. He took her hand as they walked toward the Thelnari ship together. Kira leaned close and whispered that she hadn't just learned mercy from humans. She had learned what it meant to choose your own family, your own path, and she had chosen him not because of duty or politics, but because in the darkest moment of her life he had been the light. The Empire welcomed her return with celebrations that shook planets, but everyone noticed the human at her side, the mechanic who had befriended a princess, the man who had changed the future of 2 civilizations just by being kind, and when Kira took her throne as ruler of the Thelnari Empire with Jake as her most trusted advisor. The first law she passed was simple: treat all beings with dignity regardless of their status, because you never know when the person you help might change your world or when the person you mock might rule it.